So now referring back to book page 151, you have a similar example or exercise that might come in your exam, okay? Which is finding the missing number in this set of equivalent fractions for half, or 1/2. What we do actually is, as I referred back before, you need to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the same number. So for the first, I just multiply. So here, this is the second part, or the second equivalent fractions. I just multiply the original fraction by 2, both the numerator and the denominator. 2 multiplied by 1 is 2, 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. For the third equivalent fractions, we multiply by 3, and we get 3 as multiplied by 1, it's 3. 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, okay? If you want to have more equivalent fractions, you can go ahead and have the fourth equivalent fraction by multiplying both the numerator or the denominator by 4. And you can move forward to have more equivalent fractions by multiplying 5 to both the numerator and the numerator, okay? Here's another example for fourth, or 1/4. If you multiply by 2, you get this, 2/8. If you multiply both the numerator and denominator by 3, you get 3/12, 4/16 for 4, 5 over what? You can answer this by yourself. It's easy. So if I multiply here, if I multiply 4 by 4, 16. 5 by 4 is... Now, if we can have another example for equivalent fractions, it's a quarter, which is 1/4, 1/4. Okay, now how can we find the equivalent fractions for 1/4? As you can see here, we have graphs that represent the fraction. One highlighted or one shaded box out of 4 boxes within a square. That means 1/4. One triangle of 4 triangles. One slice of pizza over 4 slices if we cut them into 4 identical pieces, and so on. So the first one we do is we just multiply it by 2 to get the second equivalent fraction, multiply by 3 to get the third equivalent fractions. And when I say multiply, that means you multiply both, as I mentioned before, the numerator and the denominator by the same number, okay? So 1/4, 1 divided by 4 is actually 0.25 as a decimal number, or 25% as a percentage. Now for the third, as an example, 1/3, if we want to find the equivalent fractions for this fraction, we just multiply by the same number as I said before. So here we multiply by 2, we get 2/6. We multiply by 3, we get 3/, this is 3 multiplied by 1 is 3, 3 multiplied by 3 is 9. So we have 9 here, okay? And then we multiply by 4, so 4 with 3 multiplied by 3 is 12, 4 multiplied by 1 is 4. 5 multiplied by 1 is 5, 5 multiplied by 3 is 15. 6 multiplied by 1 is 6, 6 multiplied by 3 is 18, and so on and so on. So 1 divided by 3 is actually 1/3, or 1/3. 3/4 or 3/4 can be, you can find equivalent fractions for this as well. You just have to multiply with the same number, 2, and then multiply by 3, multiply by 4, multiply by 5, and multiply by 6. Now let's move to equivalent fraction, which is 1/5. How can you find the answer for this particular question, okay? I'll show you the answer at the end of this slide for all the exercise 8A, specifically exercises 5, 6, 7, and 8. And the problem solving shaded fraction on page 151. For this particular example, we just multiply the fraction with multiple numbers on different stages, okay, to find many different equivalent fractions. So if I multiply 2 by both the numerator and the denominator, we get 2/10, okay, 3/15, all right, 4/20, 5/25, 6/30, all right, 1/10. You can try and answer this by yourself. Try to find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equivalent fractions for 1/10, okay? First of all, just multiply the first one with 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 for both the numerator and the denominator. Now to work on the answers of question number 5, page 181 for exercise 8A, The first question was about having 2/3, but we don't know the other equivalent fraction numerator, okay? We only know the denominator. As I told you before, if you want to find the equivalent fractions, you just multiply the original fraction, the numerator and the denominator with the same number. So if I multiply here 2 by 2 for the first fraction, it's going to be 2 multiplied by 2 is 4, 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. Here is the third fraction of 2/3, so we multiply by 3. 3 multiplied by 3 is 9, 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. The answer is 6. For the rest of the exercises, I'll just show you the answer. I already walked you through the steps of answering how you can find equivalent fractions or the missing number in equivalent fractions. Now for B, we have 3/8 and the missing number is the denominator for the equivalent fraction of 3/8. How do we find this? We just multiply or see the multiplication between 8 and 16. 8 is multiplied by 2, so we got 16, so we have to multiply 3 by 2 to get the equivalent fraction numerator, okay? So here the answer 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. The answer is 6. For C, we have 5/9 equal to numerator is missing over 27, okay? We have to find the multiplication number between 9 and 27. If I multiply 9 by 2, I will get 18, which is not the number here, okay? If I multiply 9 by 3, I'll get 27. Definitely the number would be 3 multiplied by 5. The numerator is 15, okay? The answer is 15. Now for E, we have 3/7 and the missing number is the numerator again for the equivalent fraction. The denominator is 28 here, so 7 multiplied by 4 is equal to 28. Definitely 3 multiplied by 4 is equal to 12. So 12/28, the answer is 12/28. Okay, now for F, we have 4/9. We have 4/9 equal to a missing number over 36. Again, we find the number multiplied by 9 to get 36, okay? If I multiply 9 by 3, I will not get 36. But if I multiply 9 by 4, I'll get 36. That means if I multiply 4 by 4, it's going to be the answer, which is 16. 16/36. Now for G, we have 1/5, and the missing number is the numerator again, over 25 as a denominator. If I multiply 5 by 5, I'm getting 25. So the number here, you have to only multiply by 5 to get the answer, which is 5. 2/11, 14 over a missing number, okay? If I multiply the number by 7 here, I'll get 14. That means I'll have to multiply the denominator of the original fraction to get the denominator of the equivalent fraction. So here I just multiply by 7. 7 multiplied by 11, it's 77. I, we have 4/9 equal to 20, and we don't know the denominator. So what is the number multiplied by 4 to get 20? It's actually 5. So if I multiply 5 by 4, I'll get 20. Multiply 5 by 9 and you get the answer. What do you think is the answer? And this is actually everything for question number 5. Page 181. Let's head forward to question number 6 and let's see how we can actually answer and simplify the fractions, okay?